Welcome back to Amazing World Facts. Today we dive deep into ancient Egypt, a land filled with mystery, wonder, and one of the most famous figures in human history, King Tutankhamun. The boy king, who ruled Egypt over 3,000 years ago, left a legacy that continues to baffle historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts alike. Despite his relatively short reign, Tutankhamun, or simply King Tut, remains one of the most iconic pharaohs, largely because of the extraordinary discoveries made in his tomb. In this video, we're counting down the 5 craziest facts about King Tutankhamun, from his bizarre family dynamics to the stunning treasures found in his tomb, and even some eerie mysteries that still surround his death. So buckle up as we journey back to the sands of ancient Egypt. Let's kick things off with one of the wildest aspects of King Tutankhamun's life. He became pharaoh at just 9 years old. That's right, at an age when most kids today are playing video games or struggling with math homework, Tutankhamun was sitting on the throne of one of the most powerful empires on Earth. But how did a 9-year-old boy ascend to the throne? King Tut was born during a time of great turmoil in Egypt. His father, the controversial pharaoh Akhenaten, had radically changed Egypt's religious practices, promoting the worship of a single god, the sun deity Aten. This bold move angered many Egyptians, as it overturned thousands of years of polytheistic traditions. After Akhenaten's death, Egypt was left in chaos. It was in this environment that the young Tutankhamun, the son of Akhenaten and one of his sisters, yes, you heard that right, more on this later, was thrust into the role of pharaoh. Because of his youth, King Tut didn't rule alone. He was heavily influenced by advisors like A, who may have later become pharaoh himself, and Horemheb, a powerful general. These men likely made many of the important decisions during the early part of his reign. Still, it's hard to imagine the weight on a 9-year-old boy's shoulders as he stepped into one of the most demanding and dangerous jobs in the world. Now let's dive into something that's as shocking as it is unusual: King Tut's twisted family tree. The pharaohs of Egypt were known for keeping things in the family, and by that, I mean they practiced royal incest. To maintain their divine bloodlines, Egyptian royals often married close relatives, brothers and sisters, uncles and nieces, and more. King Tut was no exception. His parents were siblings, which, as you might imagine, resulted in some serious genetic complications. This inbreeding led to many physical ailments that Tutankhamun had to live with. CT scans of his mummy revealed that he suffered from a number of medical issues, including a cleft palate, a curved spine, and perhaps most significantly, a clubfoot. This condition likely made it painful and difficult for him to walk without assistance. But that's not all. King Tut is believed to have married his half-sister, Ankhesenamun, continuing the tradition of inbreeding within the royal family. They had 2 daughters, but tragically, both were stillborn. The mummified remains of these babies were found in Tutankhamun's tomb, a heart-wrenching discovery that tells us just how high the cost of inbreeding may have been. When we think of King Tut, one thing comes to mind almost immediately: his tomb. Discovered in 1922 by British archaeologist Howard Carter, Tutankhamun's tomb is perhaps the most significant archaeological find of the 20th century. Why? Because it was almost completely intact, a rarity, as most other pharaohs' tombs had been looted long before modern archaeologists could discover them. So what exactly did they find inside? First, there was the solid gold death mask, a breathtaking piece of craftsmanship that has become the symbol of ancient Egypt. Weighing over 22 pounds, this mask covered Tutankhamun's mummy and featured intricate details of his face, including inlaid glass and semi-precious stones. It's hard to imagine the awe Carter and his team must have felt upon seeing this priceless artifact for the first time. But that was just the beginning. Over 5,000 items were found in Tutankhamun's tomb, ranging from everyday objects like furniture and clothing to extravagant treasures like jewelry, statues, and chariots. One of the most fascinating discoveries was a set of daggers, one of which was made from meteorite iron, a material from the stars, literally. All of these treasures give us a glimpse into the wealth and splendor of ancient Egypt. But they also raise a question. Why was a pharaoh who ruled for such a short time buried with so much? Could it be that King Tut's tomb, though impressive, was never meant for him in the first place? Some archaeologists believe the tomb was actually intended for someone else, but when the young pharaoh died unexpectedly, it was quickly repurposed. Speaking of King Tut's unexpected death, let's address one of the greatest mysteries surrounding him. How did he die? For many years, theories abounded. Some believed he was murdered, perhaps struck down by a political rival or even by one of his advisors. Others speculated that he might have been killed in a chariot accident. But recent advancements in science, including DNA analysis and CT scans of his mummy, have provided us with some intriguing clues. First off, as we mentioned earlier, Tutankhamun suffered from a variety of health issues due to his family's inbreeding. DNA tests have revealed that he had malaria, and it's possible that a combination of this disease and his other ailments contributed to his untimely death at around 18 or 19 years old. He also had a fracture in his leg, which might have become infected and worsened by his already weakened state. But here's where things get even stranger. Some evidence suggests that the fracture occurred after his death, potentially during the mummification process, or even when archaeologists were handling the body. So, while we know King Tut was a sickly young man, the exact cause of his death remains a subject of debate. Was it natural causes, an accident, or something more sinister? The truth may never be known. Finally, we can't talk about King Tut without mentioning one of the most spine-chilling aspects of his story, the so-called Curse of the Pharaohs. When Howard Carter and his team opened Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, rumors quickly spread that they had unleashed an ancient curse. According to legend, anyone who disturbed the tomb of a pharaoh would face swift and deadly retribution from the gods. At first, these rumors seemed like little more than superstition, until people began dying under mysterious circumstances. The most famous case was that of Lord Carnarvon, the financial backer of Carter's expedition. Just a few months after the tomb's discovery, Carnarvon died suddenly from a mosquito bite that became infected. Soon after, several other individuals who had been involved in the excavation also died, fueling rumors that Tutankhamun's curse was real. But was it really a curse, or just coincidence? Modern scholars have suggested that some of these deaths could have been caused by exposure to mold or bacteria that had been sealed inside the tomb for thousands of years. Others point out that many people involved in the excavation lived long, healthy lives, including Howard Carter himself, who died at the age of 64, over a decade after opening the tomb. Whether you believe in the curse or not, the eerie series of deaths adds yet another layer of intrigue to King Tut's already fascinating story. And there you have it, the 5 craziest facts about King Tutankhamun. From his early rise to power as a boy king, to the treasures and mysteries that surrounded his life and death, King Tut's legacy continues to captivate the world. Whether it's the mystery of his death or the legends of the curse, there's no denying that Tutankhamun's story is one for the ages. What do you think is the most fascinating part of King Tut's life? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Amazing World Facts, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode.